going to be doing leaderboards and how to save them. And before we do anything, let's make sure the game's published, because the game won't work if it's published. So publish to Roblox as, create new game, and we're just going to name this leaderboards, and we're going to disable team create and create the game. Now that the game's created, you're going to make sure that you go to game settings and you go to the security, and you want to make sure you enable studio access to API services, because you need to enable this for the game to be able to use other services like data stores. Enable studio to access game services such as data stores. I'm going to click save, and now data stores are enabled in the game. So the first thing that we're going to do is create a script in server script service. Let's put a normal script in there, and we're going to delete the print hello world. Right, so the first thing that we're going to do is create our data store. So data store is equal to game get service, and we're going to do data store service, and now we're going to do get data store, and this is going to create our data store. We're going to name this cache, because it's going to be we're going to store our cache value in there. And now what we're going to do is when the player is added, so game.players.player added, we're going to connect this into a function, and in these parameters, I can't speak, we're going to put player, and we're just going to go down. What we're going to do now, we're going to insert a folder inside of the player and name it leader stats, because a folder inside of a player named leader stats, anything in the folder is going to show up on the screen as leaderboards. So local folder is equal to instance.new. Instance.new creates new stuff, and we're going to create a folder. The folder is now going to be called, so folder.name, because that's how you set the name, is equal to a string, and the string is going to be called leader and stats. We're going to go down. We're going to also put the folder, so folder.parent is going to go inside of the player, and now we can go down and create our actual cache. So local money is equal to instance.new again, because instance.new creates new things, so instance.new, and we're going to do a init value, because init value stores numbers, and we want our cache to be numbers. And we're going to put the name, so money.name, because this is a variable, it isn't the actual name of the init value, so we're going to do money.name is equal to cache, and we're going to do now the value of the money, because values always have to do value on them to access the actual value, so dot value is equal to, and now we're going to access our data store. So the data store, we're going to get the stuff in the data store, so get async, and each player has their own key, and we're going to make the player's key their own user ID, because everybody has their own user ID, and it's different than everybody else's. But if the player isn't already in there, they can't get a value for the player. They can't go and find the key and then find the value that we're storing inside. So we're going to do or 0, so when you first join it's going to be 0, because you aren't already in there inside of the folder if you wanted to show. So we're going to put the money inside of the folder, because everything inside of a folder called leader stats that is inside of the player will show up on the screen. So we're going to put the money inside of the folder, and now we're going to do game.players removing, so game.players player removing. We're going to connect that into a function, and we're going to name this player again. Now we're going to do a pcall. Pcall is basically, it checks if it worked or not. So local success, and we can do fail, and we can wrap this inside of a pcall, which is equal to pcall, and it returns any errors or successes if it works, obviously. So the people is equal to a function, and we can tab down, and inside of here we're going to actually save the data. So we're going to do the data, we're going to do the player's cache, because that's what we want to save. So here we're going to create a variable called money again, and money is equal to the player. We're going to find, so we're going to do find first child because we want to find the leader stats, and then we're going to find the actual cache, because that is what our money is called, cache, and it's inside of the leader stats, which is what the folder is called. So now we're going to put inside here, we're going to do data store, set async, so we want to put inside of it, we're going to set it, so, and we're going to use the player's user ID because it's unique to everybody else's, so it will put the player's user ID in there because that's what we were going to get here. That's how we're going to refer to the player's stuff, which is going to be the cache, and we're going to actually put the thing that we're going to save. So this is the key, and this is the thing that we're going to get, or going to set in this case, because we're setting it here. So we're going to do money, and we're going to set the value of the money, so money.value, because it's a init value, and we're going to do here, since now we can check if it succeeded or failed, we can do if success, then we can do a print of works, and then we can do here else if, so if it didn't succeed, instead if it failed, then make sure we seem to be getting an error because we're missing an end, because when you do an else if and an if, it only uses one end. And we can do here, I'll put in our code, we're going to do if fail, then we're going to warn, which is a Roblox feature, of the fail, and in the output it's going to warn us of the fail. It's basically going to print us the fail, but like in the Roblox terms of why it actually failed, just in case that the game gets shut down. So we're going to do game bind to close, and here it says that you need to have a function in here, so we're going to do function with our brackets, and then we're going to tab down, and it automatically fills in the end, and in here we want to get all of the players and save their data, because the game's like closing, like they're not leaving, the game's closing, like their server is getting shut down. So we need to, because it's not so it's not registering the player removing, it's just registering that the game's getting shut down. So here we're going to get all of the players, and you're going to do that by doing for amount, and now you're going to do comma players. So and this is going to be the amount of players, and this is going to be the players in, and now we're going to do game.players, and you can get the players by doing get players, and you can do and press enter, and it'll do the end for us again. And we're going to do actually save the players data, and we don't want the data store to get overwhelmed, so we're going to add a little wait of 5 seconds. Let's do task.wait 5 seconds, and now we're going to save the data. So we can actually open this up, and we can copy all of this across, so copy, and we can paste this inside. We can replace the player with players, and in here let's see, the player is going to find the yep, and it's gonna do a equal, and it's gonna set there. Nice. Now it works twice, so we're going to actually do here, we're gonna do a little debounce. So we're gonna do if it works and it saves, then see we're gonna do a local variable here, which is gonna call debounce, and debounce is going to be equal to false, and if it's equal to false we're going to set it to true. So debounce is equal to true, And here we're going to do an if statement. If the bounce is equal to false, which means if this did not work, then it won't set this to true, and if it did not set it to true, then this is going to work instead. Then do all of this code, and we're clearly missing an end, so we can do tab, and it automatically fills in the end, but we want to do this underneath of all of the code. Put the end there, and we can close that, and we can actually do another tab here and set the debounce to true. Debounce is equal to true. And now we can actually fix all of the line error, like the code being like on the wrong line and stuff, by doing format selection in the script tab, and we can do documentation, and it formats our code very nicely. Now if we click play, we can do 900, and we can leave the game. It seems like it's happening both at once, so here we're going to actually do a wait as well. So we're gonna do wait of 1, task.wait of 1, because it's registering these both at the same time, because the game is getting shut down and the player is removing. So of 1, and if we leave, there we go. This time this worked, set this to true, so then this does not need to work and the servers won't get filled up. And now we have our data store that saves, and we can actually name our script leaderboard, and we can now get cash in the game and rejoin, and everything will save, as you can see, 900 cash. You could even script a part that gives you cash, so you could test it like that instead. So let's insert a script inside of a part. Let's remove all of this, and when the part, so script.parent is referring to the part now, when the part is touched, we're going to connect this into a function, and we're going to name this hit, because anything can touch it, and we're going to do if hit. So if we leave the hit, and if we leave it and we find a humanoid, then it's a player, it's the player's character, because only player's character have humanoid. So if we find the humanoid, then we can do local, we can create a variable called player, and now we have the player's character, and the player's character name is equal to the player's name. So we can do local player is equal to game.players, and we can find the player's name that is also the name of the hit.parent.name. So this is now referring to the model's name, so the character's name, and it's going to find it in the player. So it's going to go in the player, it's going to look at all of the players. It's not going to look at all of the players, but it's going to go inside and it's going to find the one that has the same name as the character name, and then it's going to access their leader stats, because that's what the cache is inside, and the cache, and we're going to actually do value. Make sure to always do .value on your values, and we're not going to do equal to, we're actually going to do plus and equal to. So it adds, it doesn't just give you 100 or like 1,000, it adds onto your original cache 1,000. And now if we come and play the game, and we start to touch the part, our cache keeps rising by the thousands, and we can even leave the game and it says it works, which means it's saved. So if we rejoin back, our cache has saved. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. I'll see you guys later.